Hello, my friends. Now that we know so many ways to make letters and connect letters and make words, we are going to create a personal affirmation. So I give you a list of affirmations there. You can choose one. They all have 3 words. So we're going to keep this simple. I picked the first one on the list, which is make today count. Let's start by separating this out, thinking about it as 3 different words, and we're going to decide which word is the most important. So I could decide maybe today is the most important, and then count is the next most important, and make is the next most important. And then I will create boxes that represent the words. So if I want to make today the most important, I'll make it the biggest. So we'll say this is box 1. Okay, and then box 2 would be for count. So I'll just do a very simple centered kind of arrangement. And box 3, it would go in that box. So I could have what we call hierarchy. No, so I just have an arrangement where I have one word's bigger, second word's in between, and the third word is the smallest, and a nice centered stacking of all the words. I could also say, well, maybe, so I could also say I want today to be really tall and narrow. So this is word 1. And count could be really stretched out and long. And maybe make is somewhere in between. So we're creating really simple layouts for our 3-word affirmation. And you can also change which word is most important. So this time I want to make count most important. So it's going to be word number 1, and today is going to be the second most important, and make is still the third. So if count is the most important, and I do a centered arrangement like I had before, then it would be the biggest one at the bottom. And then perhaps today fits in that spot. And make fits up there. Or I could say, instead of centering them, let's make count make will be there, and today could be there. After I've done several of these, I decide which ones I want to go further with, and I get my pen and I draw out the words. So here I've just basically not changing the size too much, but just trying to stack the words symmetrically one over the other. One thing I noticed with make today count was I have a big problem with the Y and the T. So the Y in today keeps crashing into the T in count. And I could go back to these planning diagrams and try and make some other ideas to sort of work with that. I can also just cut the words apart, and then I can move them around more easily. So I might feel that one's more successful, or I might decide that actually I really need to think about the size of the words more. I could go back to my planning diagrams and then decide that, I really need to have today be obviously bigger and bolder on this one, and then make and count were smaller and thinner. Over here, I kind of went the opposite direction. Today is much lighter, and make and count are bigger and bolder, and I found that contrast like that helped a lot. So then I can explore maybe other arrangements with more size contrast. So now count is really big, and that gives me space for make and today to go up above. After a little more exploration, I decided this one was one I liked a lot, where I could basically have make kind of tucked into the beginning part of today and count tucked into the bottom part there. It always helps to write the big word first. So I wrote today, And then I drew a pencil line up here so I know where make started. And then I drew a baseline for make so that it was consistently above the T and then the same distance from the D over there. So that gives me a nice space for make. And then for count, I drew a line off of the Y to create the baseline for count. Okay. You can also sketch in your letters with pencil before you use your marker so that you make sure everything fits, right? And everything is the right size and the right angle and so forth, and then just trace it over with marker.